Hey everyone, it's Ed. Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mask, where we go like a level deeper in some of the clinicians that are leading organizations and transforming healthcare. So today I have a guest, Dr. Carola Perrin. Carola, welcome to Behind the Mask.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
No, it's great having you. And before we get started, I do want to tell everyone, thank you for watching. I know you have a lot of things going on in your life and your profession, and you're taking out, 10, 15 minutes to watch Behind the Mask. And I appreciate it. We are commercial free, sponsor free, ad free. This is just pure content. So that's what makes this so exciting for me. And I love getting to know great people like Carola. So before we jump into our three questions, which are three broad questions, which are around, who are you and how'd you get here and where are you going? Tell us briefly about your role in Remedy Health Solutions.
Sure. So, well, hello. Thanks so much for having me here. As Ed mentioned, my name is Carola. I'm a physician by trade from Venezuela. Moved here around 7 years ago, and I've been with Remedy for my last 3 years and a half here. So I've been with them since the beginning of my health IT journey. It has been an amazing experience. Remedy is a healthcare IT consultant firm, and we do everything around the EHR. So as early as a hospital or health system trying to choose the right EHR, we can help with system selection advisory. We can help with training, adoption of the system, go live support, chart abstraction, all the way to the end where we find hospitals that have been using an EHR for a long time, but they're still not getting the best out of it. There are always areas for improvement. Then at that point, we can offer personalization or optimization services. And this has been really so successful lately. I love it. And the part that I love the most is that everything we do is from clinician's perspective and is from the lens of patient care. So everything around the EHR to help make our peers' lives easier.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that reminded me, Carola, of two things. One is I do work with Remedy Health Solutions, although Behind the Mask and you being a guest has nothing to do with that fact, but I just wanted to be upfront with people. And number two, yeah, you are a unique organization because I know the founders and those that you work with, in that it is based on clinicians. The leadership is all clinicians, MDs like yourself and some RNs. And that's sort of that differentiator. And so I had this experience with Remedy Health Solutions or some of the founders, even back all the way to my New York City health and hospital days. And so I'm very familiar with the organization and the great work that you do. So let's get into the Behind the Mask. So at what age did you realize, because you're a leader today, you're leading, what age did you realize you were a leader? Did something happen in your youth, or was it as an adult? Just curious.
That's a really interesting question because I was the opposite of a leader when I was a young kid. I was a really, really shy and insecure kid. And I don't know what happened when I started med school. That was when I was around 18 years old, but it was like a click, like it was just everything changed. And I started having this strong personality, and I started having this stronger influence in my family, on my family and the people around me. And now if you ask people, how was Carola at med school? They will say, oh my gosh, she was this strong person. She will always talk and do all this stuff. They will always select me to talk in front of a lot of people. And I don't know how that happened, but it happened when I was around 18 years old.
Yeah, that is super interesting, right? It's like you got into this new environment, this new opportunity, and so that was like a catalyst almost for you to suddenly switch to being a leader. But I bet if we unpacked it a little bit more, there was probably signs earlier in your youth somewhere along there.
I've been discovering them. Yes,
Yeah.
you're right.
So speaking of youth, are there things that your parents made you do when you were living at home that you kind of rolled your eyes like, I really have to do that? But now as an adult, you look back and you're like, kind of glad they made you do those things. Anything like that?
So in my country, it's a little bit different because once you graduate from high school, you go straight to university. So you have to know what's your career. So when I was really young, I already knew, okay, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to med school. But for my parents, it was always a great, you know what you're going to do, but you have to learn something else. So it was a main thing of learn other skills, or, it has to be a hobby, but it needs to help you if you need a plan B. So for me, I was like, whatever. I'm going to be a doctor. Why do I need something else? But I was like, okay, I really enjoy and love cooking and baking, so let me learn more about this. So during my extra time, I will, perfection my bakery skills, and it was just a hobby. Then when I moved to the United States, where I couldn't work in the medical field yet for the first year, I was working not in other staff, and on top of having my full-time job, at night I was baking, and during the weekends I was baking, and it helped me, and I made some good money out of that. And my dad was completely right. You need a plan B because you never know.
Ah, I love that. And what sort of things like, okay, so I didn't know this about you. We've hung out before. What sort of things, like if I came over, Simmer and I came over, visit you and your husband, what sort of thing might you bake? Like, what's your best thing?
I will ask you what do you like, because I have to say I really learn my stuff. I can bake pretty much everything, but I love the old tres leches and chocolate cake and carrot cake. I don't know. I can kind of bake a lot of things.
Man, I'm visiting next time in your city. I'm
Let
inviting
me know
myself.
it. Yes, I'll make you something.
All right. No, that's really cool. So you mentioned that in your youth already, you knew that you wanted to be a doctor. At what age did that happen? And do you remember sort of like the why? Did you see something, or what was it that made you want to be a physician?
So for me, it was always, it sounds like repetitive, but I knew I wanted to help people. And we had a really good life. So it was not, for some people, you get into med school, you'll make money. That for some people, that's the motivation behind. For me, it was not. I really, really wanted and enjoyed helping people. But what I wanted was psychologist. I wanted to be a psychologist. But when, like a year before I finished high school, I had this conversation with my uncle who is my dad's brother. He's a really good doctor in my country. And he was like, okay, you like psychologist, but you have great grades. You can get into med school. What about if you stay in the medical field, but you change it a little bit, and then you can still help people, but you make more money?
Yeah.
And I was like, that sounds good. I guess I'll do it. And I knew that, like in my country, you have good grades, you have a really high chance to get into med school, because there's only one public med school per city. So you need those grades to get in there. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. So I guess the simple answer was my conversation with my uncle, but
Yeah.
I knew I wanted the medical field.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, the influence of relatives and the logic thereof. Yeah, that's cool. Carola, what is one thing that you could share with us that your coworkers may not know about you? So, like, if they're watching, this would be kind of a surprise. Oh, I didn't know that.
Um, my husband always makes fun of me because during the mornings, sometimes I will wake up and I'm like, I don't feel talking to people. I don't listen to music in the morning. I don't do anything in the mornings other than working if I have to work, or cooking or exercising, and that's it. But when I'm in working mode, I will just change it. And then I get to the office and I'm smiling and I'm like, good morning to everyone on my way, and looking so happy. But I'm not that person in the morning. Like, I can wake up early, but I'm not gonna be friendly. But so that I guess a lot of people will be surprised, like, really? You're really happy in the mornings, but no, I am not. So I guess that will be a surprise. They all know about my bakery and everything. I'm a really open person, so I guess all the other details and hobbies I have, they know.
Is there a defining moment that happened that sort of led you to where you are today? Was there some sort of catalyst, something that happened that enabled you to be who you are today?
Okay, what about the fact that I decided that I needed to move to the United States when I was here just for a vacation? I came to visit my family, and the lawyer said, you should not go back. If you want to stay close to your family, you need to make a decision.
Wow.
Are you gonna stay or are you gonna go back? I had no idea that I was making that decision during that lawyer visit. And I had to change my life plan in a blink. Like, it was just like that. So that, I knew I was practicing in my country. I had already picked my residency and everything, and everything changed in one day. And then I stayed here without saying bye to my family that was still there, my friends, anything. I couldn't go back. I needed to stay here. That definitely changed everything.
Yeah, wow, that is a defining moment. That's a tough decision, especially at that age. And but I'm glad, and I'm sure everyone and your husband that you went today are all super happy that you made that decision.
Yeah, and I'm happy to.
Yeah. tell us about the last time you cried.
Okay, I'm a really sensitive and emotional person, but I don't cry easily. I just don't. Um, but everything related to my family, it really gets me. So that's why I remember this one. So during New Year's Eve, we always celebrate big parties with the family. And then my dad has been having some health issues. And then when I hug him and I was like, okay, Happy New Year. And then I was like, I really hope that we get many more years celebrating together and that you are alive and healthy. That's all I can ask for. And then he kind of like got sensitive. My dad doesn't cry either, and I cried. But it's everything related to my family. Other than that, nope.
Yeah.
Will get me, but I'm not gonna cry.
Yeah, no, that is a precious moment, and thanks for sharing. And yeah, you always want to appreciate people because you never know, right? When the time comes when they're no longer there. So that's great. What's something you really wanted in life and maybe didn't get, or maybe you got everything? I don't know, but is there ever something that you really wanted and it just didn't happen?
Practicing in my country, practicing medicine in my country.
Mm. Yeah.
And not many things. I have to be really thankful for that, but that one I will always think, what if?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Tell us about a time that someone tried to hold you back and what did you do? You know, sometimes people maybe intentionally or not intentionally sort of hold you back from achieving, you know, your goals. When did that happen and what did you do about it?
I don't know if I have one specific situation that I can remember. I feel like people around me have been really supportive since I moved here. I guess once they know everything you have to go through to be here, they people are empathetic with that. But sometimes there are always haters. You know, you can, even if they don't want to, sometimes they will be, and they will like kind of indirectly say things like, "Okay, she's too young."
Yeah.
I'm not that young, but I mean, compared to other people in the field, I might be too young. Or like, you know, well, she didn't practice for long enough or
Yeah.
stuff like that. I mean, nothing that really gets me, but I'd say actually that maybe it's me. Sometimes the person that is holding me back, sometimes it's me. It's my overthinking about,
Yeah.
oh, you didn't say that right. Oh, that accent. Why did you say that word like that? You know, I'm always questioning how I say things or why I said that. And sometimes I'm the one that thinks, you know, but maybe I didn't practice long enough. Maybe I needed to practice longer to whatever. I'm the one with all those thoughts that sometimes hold me back, but I'm working on it and I'm getting better at it. I know that when I do something, I do it with so much passion, and even if it's not the perfect way, it's my way and it works.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's probably more often than not for all of us, if you really think about it, that we hold ourselves back more than other people try to hold us back. Tell us about a big mistake you made. So surely somewhere along the way, whether it was in your youth or in your profession, you made a mistake.
Yeah, not studying English when I had the opportunity in my country. That would have made my life easier. I didn't do it. I was like, whatever. Why do I need English? I'm not moving, so why do I need English? Well, again, my dad was right. You never know, but I
Yeah.
didn't do it.
So when did you learn English? Was it when you stayed, when you came to the country and then stayed?
When I moved here, I learned I needed to work, so I couldn't afford to just go to school. And I learned by myself, I guess,
Yeah.
working. I was like, okay, I need to work. I need to just face it. I'm here. Let me figure it out. I knew the basic stuff. Like I knew whatever, like where's the restaurant and all this basic stuff, but not to have a full conversation. I always say that's why it's so broken. I'm trying not to say it anymore because, you know, it is what it is. This is what I have. But I kind of learned by myself when I moved here.
That's remarkable. I would have never guessed. I thought you would have been speaking English, you know, since you were in grade school or something. So that's pretty remarkable. Um,
Thank you.
Tell me about the last time you received a thank you card, or perhaps when you sent a thank you card.
Thank you cards. I'm sending a lot of those today because yesterday was my birthday. So I'm gonna be sending a lot of those. And the last one I received, December. So since I was in med school, I got together with a group of friends and we started creating this thing where we will choose one person or one family that was in need, and we will help them during Christmas time. Then I kept doing that for years. When I moved here, my first year couldn't do it, and then I went back to that. So this December, I went on a long trip with my husband before Christmas, so I didn't have that much time to do something like prepare. So I just asked my parents, choose 2 families that you want to help, and we'll send help. So we did that. And I got the normal thank you cards, but this one family, they sent me this thank you card, and I was thinking they are just gonna, with the help, they buy presents for the kids or the food or a party or whatever they want to do. And she said, I finally got to take my son to the doctor. He was due for his visit. And we finally got to give him the vaccines that he needed. He's like 2 years old, and they didn't have the money to go to the doctor. And then she said, on top of that, we helped my aunt that didn't have anything to eat for Christmas. And we got the baby a present. And I just thought, I was thinking these superficial things.
Yeah.
And they use the money to go to the doctor. So all these things that we think they are granted, that, okay, do you need to go to the doctor? You go. It was not like that. They thanked me because they could take the baby to the doctor, and I didn't even know they needed that. And that was a really special thank you card.
Yeah.
With a lot of meaning. You help more than what you think you're doing, and with small things.
Yeah, that's really cool. And happy birthday, belated.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll make a note of that so I don't miss it in the future. So we talked a little bit about who you are and some of your defining moments, and then we just spent a little bit about how you got to where you are today and sort of, who you are as a person. Sort of looking forward a little bit, chatting to the next generation, or maybe there's some people in Venezuela, but sort of that next generation. What's one thing you would say to relish in the journey? You know how we kind of rush things all the time? We try to rush getting through our education. We try to rush this and that. But then after we're through it, we're like, I wish I would have taken more time, enjoying my studies or whatever it might be. Is there something like that for you that you would tell others in a younger generation, like, enjoy this?
Enjoy everything. I mean, the fact that we can wake up every day, that's just, take that opportunity, do something with that. Enjoy the fact that you can learn something new. Enjoy the challenges that present to you, because they always teach you something. You get where you want to get. You just have to work for it and enjoy the process. When I was in med school, I was always studying, not doing anything else. You can find balance in your life. You can enjoy family, enjoy friends, and still work for what you want. Just because being alive is a blessing. So why not? Yeah,
that's good. So we know that the managing directors for Remedy Health Solutions will be watching the video. So we're not talking about like, what are you thinking about next year doing? But like, when you think about your career long-term, what's some of the things that you would like to accomplish?
I had the conversation with my boss recently, because I was telling him, I feel like I need to stay in the medical field because I studied all those years. And indeed, my medical knowledge helped me. It helps me in so many different ways when I'm in this field. But I'm liking business and operations so much that I think that in the future, it's going to be something around that. Like, I definitely want to stay in the medical field, but I'm just enjoying in this business part and helping companies make money and figure out numbers and other things. The main thing I have learned since I moved here and I had to change my life plan was that, there is nothing that you have to do. You figure it out on the way. Like, if it's changing, then go for it. I mean, life is changing all the time. So if you like something else, add it to your list and then start doing more things. So I think that it will definitely be around business and operations. I just finished my PMP, and I like all the managing part. I like the numbers too.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, it's great to be well-rounded, to have sort of that 360 view in healthcare, both the clinician side and the business side. There's very few people that have both. So hats off to you for pursuing that. What about on the personal side? What are some challenges or aspirations you have on the personal side?
For me, it keeps being a challenge to keep growing and help my family on the way. My parents don't know English, and they moved here a year before I did. They had their careers, but they haven't been able to practice because they don't know the language. So I always try to help them, and sometimes I have to take the time to go back and be like, okay, no, come with me. Let's just find a way to keep growing all together. And on top of that, I guess the challenges that we all have, how to be a good wife and a good daughter and a good worker and exercise and stay healthy and all these things. But I know that's not unique. I know that we all struggle with that. But I definitely think that an extra layer for me is that with my parents is like, okay, how do we all grow together? That's my personal challenge.
Yeah. Tell us about my last question. Tell us about the quotes that are behind you. So I can see half of the quotes. So you have a frame, 2 frames behind you.
Let's see. I have work for it more than you hope for it.
Ah, nice.
And I have do what you love and love what you do.
Very nice. Yeah, those are good words to live by. Carola, you're a fantastic person. That's why I wanted you on Behind the Mask. As I mentioned at the top, I've known you for some time, and you're a friend of Simran and mine. And I just really relish, who you are as a person. I think it's really come out in our time together. And yeah, we're definitely coming down for some chocolate cake or whatever your main specialty is. I really look forward to that. So thank you for being a guest on Behind the Mask.
No, thanks so much for having me. You are a really inspirational person, and I'm really, really glad that you thought it was my story was interesting enough to have me.
Totally. So that wraps up Behind the Mask. Thanks for watching.